Hello to all my Aptera curious friends out there. Thanks for checking out this video. In this video, I'm going to talk about Aptera's attempt to set the record straight on the vehicle's ability to climb hills. But as a lawyer, I kind of felt that the rebuttal video was lacking some of the information it needed, and I think the casual viewer did not really understand what was going on in this quick 1-minute rebuttal. So a little background on this video. Aptera got some time with NBC to be featured as one of the solar vehicles that was coming to market. And I understand why Aptera felt that this was a great opportunity to show the vehicle to a large market. And I think NBC, not being a car channel, overlooked a lot of the obvious things that they probably should have told the general audience, such as that this vehicle is not in production at this time, and that the vehicle that they were driving was a prototype and it was still under development. That would have been very helpful. And also, during the clip, we saw the Aptera have an issue going up what looked like a fairly regular incline. Didn't look like it was a very steep hill, and the motors overheated. It would have been good to let the audience know that the vehicle was performing during the day and they'd gotten B-roll footage earlier, and the car had been driven for some time before they were doing the shoots with the on-air personality and Chris, but this was never explained, so it just looked like the vehicle was not performing well. And unfortunately, Chris gave a very bad quote that NBC used, which said, he basically said that you're probably the first person to drive this up a hill, which I'm sure it's probably just a little bit of nervousness and not understanding what was going on, and probably hadn't been on the shoot all day. Chris probably just showed up for the video recording piece of it. So I'm sure, he was probably caught off guard that the vehicle wasn't performing and didn't understand why it wouldn't perform and why the wheel was overheating at that moment. But it was just a bad quote. And of course, I'm not blaming NBC for the type of coverage that they used. I mean, it's not a car channel, and we know the news that bleeds leads. So, bad news unfortunately gets more airtime than good news. And for NBC, they have nothing invested in promoting Aptera specifically. But a lot of things were explained on the Discord channel for people who know. Chris McKinnon of Aptera's publicity arm, he came on the Discord and explained, like we knew, that this was the Gamma prototype. This was originally just made as a show vehicle to show the interior, show closer final dimensions, and it was brought out some time ago, and they've added some more things to it. They're using it, to promote the vehicle. They've taken it to Europe. They've driven it around a little bit, mostly in cold weather, and it doesn't have production spec. It's still a development vehicle, and also explained that the problem with the wheels, of course, this was a safety feature because the motors were overheating because they had not hooked up the cooling to it. It had not been necessary. They probably haven't driven the vehicle that much. This might have been the most it's been driven, and probably in the hottest temperatures and the most extreme use of the vehicle that they had up until this time. Aptera definitely saw this as good publicity, and it did bring a broader audience. They have two things to consider, I guess. Are they reaching new investors? This might have hurt them a little bit. And then also, they don't really need to go for a super broad audience until they probably have a production vehicle and show it to outlets like this. I think a better option, what they did earlier with Jerry Rig Everything and Marcus Brownlee, like, those are channels that get a lot of views, and they get viewed by people who understand prototypes, understand vehicle development, want to get into the nitty-gritty of vehicles, so they can understand some jank or issues. And the audience that watches NBC is the average person who is looking for a product that's already developed and ready for market. And that is what I think they could have passed on this NBC at this point. But it's too late for that now. So what Aptera tried to do was a rebuttal video. And your rebuttal video, there are three audiences generally that I think will see this video. They're obviously us, the Aptera lovers. People are curious about it. People are on the Discord, watch multiple videos, and already are sold on Aptera. For us, this video did nothing. Well, I mean, most of us probably already saw the information on the Discord, or don't care because we know the vehicle is under development. This is not a production intent vehicle. We understand there are going to be issues and they're working through it, and we kind of know where they are already. So we did not have any doubt that the vehicle could go uphill, and from looking at most of the comments on the video, it seemed like those are the people who watched the video, people who already knew that the Aptera was under development, and they did not think that the vehicle couldn't go up hills. They just knew that it was a prototype. They had a little snag, but we didn't care. The other audience are people who are not convinced. The haters, basically, are people who don't think Aptera is ready for prime time. And there are a few of them out there. I mean, there's this video from Solar Car Enthusiast, which is kind of questioning, not super negative, but he also, just kind of highlights things that any, pre-development vehicle or pre-production vehicle startup company is going through. It's skeptical, a little bit negative. I mean, the tag is quite negative, but obviously that gets views. And then we have people who are super negative, like Aussie Idea Man, who tries to debunk Aptera all the time. He's made a number of videos bashing Aptera and saying how they keep changing their story and how the vehicle is not working. And I mean, this is just, candy for him. And then we have someone like Warren Redlick, who is very big in the Tesla community. I never really loved his videos, even when I was a bigger Tesla fan. And, he also kind of he's tried to slam Aptera, but I've never really found him very convincing. And his video basically just talked about, their finances, which obviously are not secure because they're going through development. They're a startup. It's the same thing that Tesla went through, and everybody was bashing Tesla, and he basically used the same arguments that people were using about Tesla before they were profitable and when they were developing. So these guys, they're not going to be convinced by this video. This video does not have enough information to win them over, and you probably shouldn't even target these people. The Aptera has a very small market right now. They have a small group of fans. I mean, 40,000 people, reservations is nothing to shake a stick at, and they've raised a lot of crowdfunding. But I mean, the general public does not know who Aptera is. Almost, even when I talk to people in the car industry, when I go to car shows and stuff, most of them have never heard of Aptera. So Aptera is very new, and there's a lot of people to reach. And these are the people who this video should be made for. People who know little or nothing about Aptera, have probably never seen the MBC video, and this might be the first video they've ever seen about Aptera. And for those people, I think this video was less than nothing. I mean, it really didn't. It would have done nothing to explain to them what this video was trying to do. My first critique is the video just told us about this hill double peak park, which I don't know how many people outside of maybe a small area in California that know what Double Peak Park is. I mean, it's not Pikes Peak. Nobody knows about this hill, how grueling it is, what kind of elevation, or any of that. So to just announce this park with no real background on what it is, it doesn't tell anyone anything about where they're driving. And also, they just showed elevation of 1,600 feet. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything taken on its own. This hill could have started at 1,400 feet and just went to 1,600 feet. And how long was the road? Is it a mile? Is it 5 miles? That will change the grade a lot depending on how far you're going and how much elevation you're traversing. So this was actually addressed in a video by Aptera Owners Club, who found the park and did a great dissection of the road. He used this app for riders, and you should check out his video. And he found out that the grade went from 4%, which is pretty good, and then went as high as 17%. But like I said, this thing started at about 1,400 feet. It was about a mile of road, so it's pretty short. So it's, is this a really big test of the vehicle? Some could say yes, some could say no, but I mean, 17% grade is pretty heavy. And again, on the Discord, it was McKinnon said that they went up approximately 3 times. I'm not sure what that means. Did they have one or two failed attempts? Did they start in the middle of the hill? I don't know why he put the little tilde around before the three. It should have just been 3 times. And if they went up the hill 3 times, but also, what does that mean? Going up the hill 3 times? Was it 3 times in a row? Did they just go up, coast back down, go back up, coast back down? Or was there, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours between? We don't know. This is not any conclusive information. And they didn't show the whole drive. The video starts somewhere up the hill, very near the top. They go around a few corners and then enter the parking lot. I mean, if I was a skeptic, I would be like, well, they just started from out of camera and, they just started the vehicle there, drove a couple hundred feet, and that's it. This video really did not address any concerns I would feel if I was concerned about whether or not this vehicle could go up a hill. So how would I have done a more convincing video, or what should Aptera have done? I mean, obviously, you got to aim for the audience of people who don't know what's going on. So they should have started with explaining what the video was about. They should have told that, this is a development vehicle, that they had used it on the NBC show, and the vehicle did not perform as expected. And during their diagnosis of what happened that day, they realized that the motors overheated because the cooling had not been connected. And this would have been a great time to showcase one of their engineers, and he could talk a little bit about the cooling system. It doesn't have to be super in depth, but talk about it. Make sure that everyone knows that this is liquid cooled. They are liquid cooling the batteries, that it's monitored, that it's not just an air cooled vehicle, that they've tested the plumbing, and this is a prototype system, and they expect to have a better system on the final vehicle. But for this test, they've rigged up one, and this should be sufficient. And just a little 2-minute intro that this is something that they've addressed. They know that they needed it. They've already worked on it, and it's already developing, and they just didn't hook it up because they didn't need it. This was a prototype vehicle that was just basically going to be pushed around, trailered to locations, driven a few 100 yards, parked so that people could see the vehicle and experience the vehicle, but it was not a production vehicle. Then I would have live streamed the drive up the hill. First, explain this hill. Let people know what Double Peak Park is. Let them understand how much elevation they're going, what the grades are. Some people might think that this is a kind of a boring video, but I watch a lot of these long form videos. I watch, Cal Connor do his out of spec videos on charging, charging tests and stuff like this. And and I think a lot of the people in the Aptera community would actually tune in for a live stream of them driving the vehicle and talking about it. Maybe we could ask some questions in the chat and get some responses. But I think that would have been a great interactive video. It would have shown what the vehicle could do and give the real fans an opportunity to get a little more technical detail behind the vehicle. And this live stream would be harder to dispute because you could show them, drive the vehicle from the bottom of the hill all the way up, explain what this hill is, what kind of grades you could kind of see what it is, and do one long shot, and also have some technical details. How hot was the day? We don't even know. What time of day did they drive? Was it noon? Was it in the morning, afternoon? What temperatures was the vehicle experiencing? If it was a 60-degree day, is this really a hard test? If it's a 90-degree day, then it would give you more confidence that the vehicle is performing. There were also, hinted that the vehicle was charging from the solar panels. That would have been great. They could have talked about that. They could have talked a little bit about how much energy they would regen coasting back down the hill. All good information, all things that could keep people engaged for the 20 minutes or so that it would take for them to drive up the hill on a live stream, full video, start to finish, no questions asked. You could see that this vehicle could perform. Obviously, it's a little bit of a hazard. If the vehicle doesn't make it, it would look bad. But obviously, they should have tested it, make sure it could work, and be 99.5 whatever % sure that it would happen. Because if you have confidence in the vehicle, if you're going to rebut this, then you have to fully rebut it and make a video that's worth it. So, you know, give us some data, do the video, do a straight stream from bottom to top, and I think that would have been more convincing. It would have been engaging, and that would let the average person who doesn't know much about Aptera, know that what they're doing with this video, and I think that would have been a more compelling video. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think I'm being a little too hard on Aptera? Was the video fine? Or do you think they should have done something with a live stream and a more detailed information, such as, you know, battery temps, wheel temps, outside temperature, state of charge, how much battery they lost? I know they might not want to go into too many details, but it would be nice to know kind of where they are, and I think that would have serviced the two most important communities: the people who know nothing about Aptera and the people who are enthusiastic about Aptera. The naysayers, they're going to be naysayers, but they're a small community, and I don't think at this point Aptera needs to address them. There's a large enough market for Aptera to tap into with just the enthusiasts and people who are neutral on the vehicle at this time. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, like and share to help our channel grow. And below you'll find links to our website, evolv-electric.org, our Twitter and Instagram